Welcome around the workstand. Today, we have a special guest who has been on the podcast once long ago. This is Matt Lolli. Matt, how are you?
I'm doing well, Mark. How are you?
I'm doing wonderfully. And we're going to talk about what you do. It's all about you today, Matt. You are in charge of our brand and supplier services. And we're going to talk about what that is and how you got here. And let's start there. How long have you been here at Workstand with us, even though I remember when you got here?
Yeah. So,
and what brought you here? How'd you get through the bike industry to end up here at Workstand with us?
cool. Yeah. So I've been at Workstand now for about 8 years. And yeah, I know. It's going by quick. And I guess how I got here. So a long time ago, I worked for a retailer that did mostly ski stuff. It's called Ski Market in New England. And I got, they sold bikes in the summertime, and I got more and more interested in bikes. The manager of that shop and her husband really are the ones to blame for getting me addicted to all things cycling. So at one point I decided I wanted to play less with snow sports and more with bikes. So got a job at a shop, worked there for 12 or 13 years or so, and kind of held just about every position in that shop outside of ownership. And then moved to Colorado in 2017, worked for a couple shops there, and wound up landing with I guess Smart Detailing back then. Yep. And yeah, and Workstand now. So
you were here in the before times.
The before times, yeah.
The before times. In the times where we spent a lot of time repeating ourselves, Smart Detailing.
Right. Yeah.
Well, good. So the next step is brand and supplier services. As a broad overview, what are those services, and why do brands and suppliers participate in that kind of thing with us?
Sure. So, it's broadly, there are varying ways that these brand and suppliers can help support local bike shops. And I think that these brands are choosing to partner with us because they see an opportunity to support their local dealers and help drive sales by leveraging technology at scale.
Yeah, because we've got some 1,400 stores across North America.
Right.
We're producing content and helping them market their businesses. So there's a natural way that a brand or a supplier could work with us to help that local retailer sell more stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And speaking of those local retailers, those merchants, what's really in it for them? I guess that's kind of self-evident. If we're working with brands to create more stuff, how does that really help them on a daily basis sell more in their store?
Yeah, so we try to make it as easy as possible for those dealers to do business and sell more products. So one of the big ways is that we try to make it easy to merchandise products that they sell, whether those products are in store or connected at a local or one of their supplier partners. One of the other cool ways is that sometimes brands will pay for content to be produced and then installed on merchant sites. And the savings there for dealers is pretty huge. You know, the brand is taking on the investment to build these marketing pieces. A retailer doesn't have to do that on their own. It's done. It's packaged. It's easy to install on a Workstand site.
Awesome. Well, that's a good broad overview. Appreciate you doing that. Well, let's talk about let's get a little deeper into the weeds. Let's talk more about these things. There's a group of these services, and we'll go through them. There's catalog enrichment, which is getting catalog data in there so merchants don't have to. There's price integrity, which is helping support map pricing, Supplier Sync, Supplier Fulfillment, et cetera, and so forth. Let's go through those. Is it fair to say that it kind of all starts with the catalog? If we don't have the catalog data, it's hard to do much else beyond that? Yeah,
definitely. We oftentimes refer to catalog enrichment as being a cornerstone of our service. It really helps cut down on the amount of work that retailers need to undertake to have an effective website or sell via e-com. By kind of fully building out these products, when a dealer connects their point of sale system, their website can see what they have in stock. It can see what they don't have in stock. Maybe what they don't have in stock is available at a connected supplier, which is Supplier Sync. We'll get to that in a little bit. But by cutting down on the amount of time that a dealer has to invest, it really allows them to devote more time to the things that they're good at. Handling organic business coming through the door day to day, bike repairs, bike builds, bike fitting, just operating day to day in their store.
Yep. So we work with the brand. They give us the data in mass because it was too much for us to go to individual sites and right click and save pictures.
Right.
We take that data and do what we call enrichment, and which is make it pretty and well formatted and easy to work on our system. And that is a huge savings because now the merchant doesn't have to go do all that. It's a big reason people come to us in the first place.
Yeah.
Now, for those brands and suppliers, do we charge them to put their catalog data in our system?
No, not for enrichment. That's a free service. It's such a benefit to their dealer base that it's worth making it available at no charge.
Good.
Yeah.
Awesome. And we've got, I forget the numbers, but it's some 600 brands.
Something like that, at least.
Three-quarters of a million SKUs. If it's in the bike world, it's a pretty good chance we've got it. I think the explosion of new e-bike brands has made it a little hard to keep up with those, but there's certainly going to be a few things not there. But generally, we've got you covered when it comes to bike-related catalog content.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing it does is once a brand has submitted that data to us, it opens the door to additional integrations that we offer, which I think we're going to talk about here in a minute.
Well, let's talk about the next one.
Let's do it.
So we used to call this one map protection. Now we call it price integrity. I mentioned that just in case you wonder where map protection went. It didn't go anywhere. We just call it price integrity now. Explain price integrity and how brands participate with us and why that's helpful to merchants.
Yeah, definitely. So maintaining price consistency across channels is a big undertaking for a brand. Trying to maintain that consistency helps ensure that it's not devaluing product by having someone undercut a ton of other retailers on price. So basically, for a brand, they can upload a single file to us, and then when that file is consumed by our system, it drives out pricing overnight. So with a single file upload, regardless of how big your SKU list is, a brand can ensure that they're driving pricing updates fairly easily. And it's driving those updates to a relatively decent chunk of IBDs as well. Anyone who's on our services.
Yep. So certainly just stores that are working with Workstand for their website.
Right.
But the beauty of that, I think, from a standpoint of a merchant is that sometimes prices get off. And what we don't want to do is because we don't want to advertise that price. We don't want a pricing mistake in the store or some kind of odd pricing issue or closeout to make its way onto the website. And that's what this does. It intercepts those low prices and puts them back to the map price without the retailer really having to do anything. And that's a pretty big savings across both for the merchant, because if they have a violation, they usually get a letter from a brand, an email from a brand, go and fix this, and now they got to stop and go fix it. So if we can stop those ahead of time, that's a pretty big savings for the merchant, and it certainly makes the brand's life better. And again, the reason I think we changed the name to Price Integrity, because it really is about maintaining the integrity of the product via the pricing across all channels.
For sure. It's a big savings, too, for a brand, especially if they're investing a lot of money in policing this through different channels. If we can cut down on a specific segment, if we can focus on our dealers, that frees up time on a brand side to go chase down violations in other places, whether it's 3P or some other online sellers.
Yeah. And we have a bunch of brands that participate in this, but if you know of a brand that it matters to you and they don't, let us know, and Matt and his folks will reach out and try and get them on the program.
Definitely.
So we now have enriched catalog content. We're paying attention to prices and keeping map pricing under control. What's next? What's one of my favorite things as Supplier Sync. Is that something that we start talking about after these other things are in place?
Yeah, absolutely. So Supplier Sync is great because retailers have typically a limited amount of floor space, and so they're usually pretty careful in terms of strategic about which SKUs they're electing to stock in their stores. And so we start looking at some suppliers who have really expansive SKU lists, it can get pretty overwhelming trying to figure out how to get all these things in your store. You probably just physically can't do it.
You just won't be able to.
Right. So Supplier Sync helps sort of expand the walls or create longer aisles, if you will. And it allows retailers to show products that are available in a supplier's warehouse that are typically not visible to a consumer. Historically, that product, like the supplier knows what they have, and a dealer may know what they have or can learn what they have by going to look some other resource like a B2B. But now this helps merchandise these products effectively on a retailer's Workstand website. There's a label on there that lets a consumer know that this thing isn't necessarily in stock, but it's available. And so it gives them confidence that if they purchase that item from a retailer, that retailer is going to be able to procure it and get it into their hands.
And it keeps that shopping experience happening on the retailer site. Whereas,
correct.
Yeah, if I'm looking for a red helmet and what I see on the retailer site is only green helmets, then I don't even know if they can get that helmet for me. And certainly these days, there's less likely as a consumer to pick the phone up and call or just show up unannounced.
Right.
Being able to blend that together with what's both in store and in the warehouse becomes a huge opportunity to close a sale. Whether that sale closes on the website or in the store, we kept that consumer shopping with that particular local merchant. And that's a huge benefit to what's going on. And you mentioned floor space, but it's also a dollar issue too. Mm-hmm. Most businesses just don't have the investment available to stock everything, even if they wanted to stock more. This is a way that you can do two things that I think are important. One is use that warehouse inventory to more fully merchandise what really is available. But the other one is to, sell out of that warehouse without necessarily have to bring it in. And you learn what consumers are looking for. So the third or fourth time you sell a thing that's in a warehouse, maybe that's a good indication that's something worth stocking. Let go of something else, stock this thing. So it really can help with more effective stocking strategies in addition to being a tool that can close a sale right now.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And in store, I mean, when I worked for a retailer and we were a smart detailing, I guess this was prior to Workstand, so we were a smart detailing dealer. Yeah, it wasn't uncommon for us to either have a terminal in the store. I know some shops would use iPads. This was kind of back before tablets were everywhere. But being able to walk a customer over and go onto your website and show them like in the store, for us anyway, was pretty effective.
Yeah. And again, even that, you mentioned B2Bs earlier. You can certainly log in and look at a B2B, but you don't want to do that in front of a customer.
Right.
If it's one of those items that's available at 4 or 5 suppliers, how long does it take to go do all that? If we can collate all that onto your own website, and when somebody's shopping, even if you're doing what you said, showing them in the store, you're showing them on your own website. Mm-hmm. You're helping them learn that you're the source for these things. There's just a bunch of benefits to Supplier Sync that, and it's just, it's part of the local program with us. We use it to fill in the blanks. So if my red and green helmet, if you've got at least one SKU in there, we'll fill in the blanks with that. On the pro level, we even show everything, even if you don't stock any of it. So it becomes even a broader selection, which is why so many of our clients are on the pro level. So lots going on. The other thing you have to be on pro for is supplier fulfillment. So it's one thing to show that inventory on a website, but supplier fulfillment is kind of built-in drop shipping, right?
Yeah, exactly. So when an order comes into a Workstand dealer's site who's using supplier fulfillment, that retailer is capturing the transaction, and that functionality the supplier fulfillment functionality allows that dealer to pass the order over to their supplier to have the supplier drop ship the product directly to the consumer. So getting more sales out of your existing network of dealers. And the retailer is able to, they don't have to commit as many resources to procurement logistics and allow their supplier who's really well versed in that to kind of take on that work.
Yeah, pick, pack, and ship on their behalf.
Yeah.
And as far as the consumer knows, all they know is they've done business with their local bike shop, which is what we want. We want that relationship to live with that merchant and let them grow that over time. Logistically, maybe there's somebody in the background handling things. That's just the savings, and it makes the consumer's life better too. If the order's being shipped, it gets there quicker because instead of having to order something, bring it to the store, unpack it, receive it, repack it, ship it, it all happens in one step from the suppliers. We don't charge any extra for that to the merchants. It's part of the professional package, and each of the suppliers has a nominal small charge, $2, $3, $4 that they charge to execute those orders. So it's pretty reasonable all the way around.
Yeah. Yep. Definitely.
Excellent. So what next? What other services are involved with your work?
So we have a product location tool that's pretty cool called Buy Local Now. And that is a piece that resides on a brand's consumer-facing website. So, you've spent as a brand, you've spent a ton of resources to get a consumer excited about your product. They go to your site to learn more about it. They find something that they're interested in. They want to make a purchase. And then now maybe you don't sell direct yet. Maybe you don't sell direct at all. So how do you connect that consumer who's ready to buy with a stocking dealer somewhere nearby them? And that's where the Buy Local Now tool comes in. It will geolocate to where a consumer is searching from, and then connect them with local stores in their area who are stocking that product. Or if they don't have it in stock, who's connected with a supplier via the Supplier Sync piece. And then it'll show that consumer, Joe's bike shop right down the street from you has this thing in stock right now. And then it gives them some options. They can either go, if it's a Workstand site, they can go right to the product detail page and they're one click away from adding that item to a cart and buying it. I think one of the neat features of this is if there's a retailer who is not subscribing to our services, they can still connect their point of sale with us and provide us basically their inventory and let us know what they have in stock and still be included in those search results in spite of not being a subscriber.
Yeah, you're stumbling over that a little bit, but it is a thing that there are some bike shops that don't have a Workstand website. I know it sounds crazy, but there are some. But this is the first thing that we've talked about that is a piece of technology that is available to stores that aren't yet on the Workstand platform. And we did that specifically on purpose because we think that it's that important that we support the local bike shop channel, that we want to make sure we got them there. Now, you said something really important. If it is a Workstand site, that little button in the Buy Local Now result takes you directly to that product detail page on the website. You can buy it there, you're in, you're out, or at least you know exactly which store it's at and where to go get it. We don't know that on a non-Workstand site. There's too many different variables. We can't take you there, but we will put you right on that retailer's website. So if the closest store to you is not a Workstand site or your preferred isn't a Workstand site, at least we'll still put you there. So we're still trying to connect from that brand site, which typically gets a lot of traffic, to the local stocking retailer as best we can. Those accounts are free. So if you're not a Workstand client, if you get me on the phone, I will eventually try and guide you to a Workstand product. But we have it's called a free Buy Local Now account. We'll get you connected, and all the brands are included. Some of the brands, and maybe take a minute and explain that. So some of the brands like Giant, we are the technology that powers the web link part of things. So there's some brands we have something specific with, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Giant's one of the specific ones. So, they're doing a program where it's direct sale to a consumer, but they are including their retailer base in the margins of profits. So they're leveraging the data that we're serving up. They need to know which retailers have which specific SKUs and how many they have. And that's slightly different from Buy Local Now, but it is another service that we offer brands where we can, instead of just serving up a binary yes, no, this item's in stock or it's not in stock, we can serve up specifically which of your SKUs are present in specific shops and how many they have.
And it all happens if you're not if your Workstand client's all already in there. If you're not on the Workstand platform for your website, then this free account is the conduit that allows all that to happen.
Yeah. Yep.
So reach out. I'll put links in the description. If you hear this and think I'd like to have that, then there'll be links and information down there for that. There's a couple of ways, and let's not spend too much time on the technicalities of this, but it's a couple of ways Buy Local Now can be implemented. There's sort of a simple way, and then there's a more advanced way. Is that more advanced way how Giant uses, or some of these more, I don't know, in detail pieces get put together?
Yeah. So the Giant one specifically, that's fairly detailed. So if you're a brand and you're interested in participating and you just want to serve up results, like very basically, this product's available at these retailers in this zip code or within this radius. We have a little bit more of a simpler implementation. There's some code that goes in, fill out some details, and then it just works. There are some additional ones if you need more control, like you want to, as a brand, maybe I want to serve up certain levels of dealers ahead of others, depending on buy-in, maybe other factors. You can do that with the more extensive one. And then with that additional piece, sharing quantities, that's definitely more, I'd say, of an advanced implementation. There's a lot of other factors that are going to go into how that works, and then how, like, what kind of functionality is going to exist on a brand site. But we can talk about those.
Good. So if the brands hear this and think I have a big idea, we have solutions for simple and we have solutions for big ideas. Most of that stuff, is a lot of behind the scenes technical things that go into that. But we do more direct marketing type projects with brands and suppliers as well. Tell us about partner pages and how those work.
Yeah, so partner pages is essentially like a distributed marketing content for brands, and we've got a few different stories that we can tell. So essentially, brand's going to come to us and say, we have a new product coming out that we want to try to help amplify this release, or maybe we're doing some kind of national style sales campaign, like a summer sale or end of season or holiday sale. Or maybe we just want an evergreen type content where we're going to put in some really nice glossy photos, embed some videos, and basically talk about our brand and the variety of products that we sell, and make it really easy for a dealer to install any of these on their Workstand site. So brand delivers us all the collateral. We'll have a discussion about launch dates and timeframes and that kind of thing. We hand over all the collateral to our own internal agency. We have some designers in that agency who will take all of those products, build it into a Workstand page, and we'll bounce it back and forth with the brand to make sure that we get that final product looking just as they're envisioning it. And then when it's time to launch, we can distribute in a couple of ways. We can provide these things for retailers to install on their own. A few clicks and it's up on your site. We have some other some paid options too, where brands might say this is a key release for us and we want as many dealers engaging with it as possible. We're willing to pay to have this, have Workstand actually go do the work to install it on dealer sites. And then usually about 30 days after a campaign, we'll deliver some sales results and just try to give the brand a sense of how did this campaign perform? How many people looked at it? How did they interact with the page? Were there any sales that were made, attributable to visits to this page? And, it's a fun program. We work with, I'd say, pretty much all the major bike brands on, fairly regular campaigns. There's always something going on every month.
Yep. So that could be sometimes they're simple. They're just graphics that go on the homepage that announce whatever that is, be it a sale or a product launch. More often, though, they're landing pages as well. And so there's something on the homepage to catch the attention that's, smooth marketing to catch the attention of the potential bike buyer or product buyer. Then the landing page gets into more detail. And it's to me, it's always been a good way to take national or international brand level design, the vibe of the the way they feel, that they tell that story, because brands are so good at telling their story at that level.
Yeah.
But it's being able to take that kind of marketing material and get it ready to be deployed on merchant sites without the merchant having to do all that work. You guys handle that in the background. And now that just makes the merchant look better. It's more attractive to consumers. It connects those stories from brand sites to merchant sites, and that just makes it easier to market and merchandise and sell that stuff. So I think that's been a huge project. That work has grown a lot over the last few years, both in terms of how sophisticated the content is and how many brands are participating. Isn't that right?
Yeah, absolutely. We have more and more brands kind of asking throughout the year just about what else we can do, how else we can work together. So it's a cool program. I mean, especially for a brand, like they spend so much money, they allocate so many resources to, like you said, telling the story and making these launches and different campaigns look a certain way. Being able to maintain that consistency, regardless of which market it's being put in, and regardless of which Workstand retailer site it's being put out, that's huge.
Yeah. Excellent. Good. All right. Well, those are the main programs that you guys work with. I'm sure over time we'll come up with other things that help brands and merchants connect and sell more things. But should a brand be listening to this? Or I guess two things. Should a brand be listening? What's the best way for them to get involved if they're not already involved?
Yeah, they can reach out to me directly. They can reach out to Workstand in general. We've got a great team. If one of our CS team members here, I mean, I'm getting stuff fed all the time. Like, hey, so-and-so reached out. They can, that's the best way.
So either matt.l@workstand.com or just support@workstand.com. Let them know you're a brand. You want to be involved in the brand and supplier services. And if you're a merchant, this comes up a lot. And I don't know, sometimes I think I'm overly aggressive in suggesting that a merchant tell the brand that this matters. But let's just say, you're a merchant and a key brand of yours isn't involved in these programs and you think they should be, as we do. What's the best way? Is it for the merchant to tell their rep or their contacted that brand to reach out to Workstand? What's the best way for the merchant to facilitate?
Yeah, definitely. So, thinking back to my time working in retail, it can feel sometimes overwhelming, or maybe you feel like your voice doesn't matter when you go talk to your inside person or your sales rep. But they do listen, they do hear that. And we do often get feedback or questions from folks inside of a brand saying, I've heard XYZ from my outside team. Can you shine a light on that? So they do listen. They do take things back. And if you're a retailer and there's a brand that you really want to participate with our services, asking if you have like an inside salesperson or like a factory rep who's your outside salesperson, or even if you know someone inside in operations or marketing or the sales department, have them reach out and connect with us. And I'd love to talk to them.
Good. I'll have all that contact information in the notes below.
Great.
And that goes for everything. So if you have a brand that you're having to build your catalog items manually, because it doesn't happen often, but we don't have that content, let's get that brand involved and get them sending the content over and save you that time. If it's about the partner pages, the marketing material that we help create, if they're not showing up in Supplier Sync, whatever that is, let us know how we can help. We'll definitely reach out. And I'll tell you one thing we did forget. I say we will reach out. It certainly won't be me. It'll be Matt. Who else do you work? Because you like me cross teams a lot around here. So in a given week or so, who are you working with? I mean, I know Chris Gardner plays a big role. Who are you working with across Workstand in a given week? Yeah,
Chris Gardner plays a big role. He really helps out with a lot of brand supplier integration. He monitors a lot of the feeds and works directly with technical teams. If brands are watching, they probably talked with him about product data as well. Lauren and her agency team. So work with Hannah quite a bit, Hannah Bottinger. We work together really closely on partner pages, working directly with brands on those. Who else? Bunch of folks on the sales. you and Brian on the sales team work together quite often.
And Chris lives in the catalog team, so I imagine he's your interface there, but the catalog team's
Yep.
intimately involved in these activities.
Yeah, they are. I probably should have mentioned them first, right? I mean, they're kind of core.
If it's the cornerstone, it's the cornerstone.
Absolutely. I mean, they are massively important in getting these projects pushed across the finish line for enrichment. Yeah, if there's something missing, retailers will let us know, and they're usually the first to hear about it.
Yeah, I think it's just important to understand it's not just Matt, not just you, and they're doing those things. There's a big team here that works towards getting this stuff together, making sure brands that want to support merchants have a good mechanism to do so. And those people live across the platform. So, Hannah, you mentioned, also works with clients. You may hear this and think, "Wasn't that my account manager?" Yeah, that's her. So we're not a huge company. A lot of us are wearing lots of hats. So,
Yep.
All right, this is good. All the notes will be down below. If you need something, reach out. You can always email podcast@workstand.com. We all know how much I like seeing those emails, even though most of them are still spam. I still get excited and I still read the emails. So let us know how we can help. Matt, thanks so much for hanging out, and we will see you around the workstand.
Thanks, Mark.